Now, how did this new version philosophy enter into Christianity? Well, I hate to tell you, but it came in through the seminaries. Okay, the educated Christians. All right? And for many years, the educateds have mocked this comic book by Jack Chick. This comic book is Sabotage, and it deals with, you go into here, it deals with a young man who goes off to seminary, and his college professor, his Bible college professor, tells him that the Bible is a man-made book and it's not perfect. And it destroys his faith, and the young man goes crazy, he burns a burns a seminary down, and he smashes the Bible into the professor's face and everything else, and people, ha 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 ha, boy, that's ridiculous. What an over-exaggerated story. Oh, really? Well, I'm going to show you some personal testimony here from professing Christians, who I don't believe were ever saved, but professing Christians that went off to their Bible seminaries because they felt a call to be in ministry, and they had their faith destroyed in this book, in the Word of God. They had their faith destroyed in it because of the seminaries, because of the Alexandrian school of thought. And as a result, they eventually left Christianity altogether and are now Muslims. So let me show you some clips here from the first man, and then we'll go on, I'll show you another one. Check this out.
I grew up in a small rural community in Kansas where the church was the center of community life. We attended the local Methodist church, and throughout my childhood, I was very actively involved in collecting my perfect attendance pins from Sunday school, my awards for memorizing biblical verses, etc. And so by the time I reached junior high school, I was already considering the ministry as a personal calling. And at age 17, I entered Harvard College as an undergraduate with a philosophy major, which was gearing towards seminary. And continued on in that direction. In 1969, I received my license to preach from the United Methodist Church. In 1971, graduated as an undergraduate and entered Harvard Divinity School, which is a 3-year program leading to a degree in Master of Divinity. In 1972, I was ordained a deacon in the United Methodist Church, and in 1974, I graduated with a Master of Divinity from Harvard Divinity School. Spent that summer as an interim minister in 2 rural parishes in Kansas. But in the fall of 1974, I left the ministry, or at least left the parish ministry. I was still an ordained minister, but never again would I fill a pulpit after the fall of 1974. Basically, it's one of the ironies of life that the churches often take the most promising of their young ministers and they send them to really good seminaries. And in those really good seminaries, such as the one I was fortunate enough to attend, you are systematically exposed to the oldest existing texts of how the Bible actually once read. You're exposed to the changes that were made in those texts, when those changes took place, why those changes took place, where those changes took place. So once you receive that knowledge, and those changes, by the way, raise serious questions about such fundamental Christian doctrines as the Trinity, the sonship of Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, the crucifixion event, and the doctrine of atonement in the blood. All of these come into serious question when you look at the oldest manuscripts that we have of what the Bible once said. So that was one consideration. But these are the 2 fundamental reasons why I left the Christian ministry. It really boiled down to an issue of personal integrity. You know, how could I stand behind the pulpit on Sunday morning and preach a sermon that I knew was at variance with the actual taproot of Christianity. Of course, if I stood behind the pulpit on Sunday morning and preached what I had been taught in seminary, I'd be looking for a new job within a week.
Yeah.
So this conflict existed. And as a result, to preserve my personal integrity, I left the active ministry and pursued graduate school in clinical psychology. And by the way, approximately half of my graduating class from Harvard Divinity School walked away from the parish ministry upon graduation. So I wasn't the only one.
Is this kind of like have you heard of Bart Aram?
Yes, yes.
Kind of people also who have gotten engrossed and really started to go deeper into studying the original text, and many of them, they come to the conclusion that you have, that a lot of this is not making sense. It doesn't fit.
Sure. And the biblical scholar you mentioned is a good example of that, but there are many others as well.
Can you name a few that some people who are out there, the academics, who they recognize these people, these names?
Well, Bart Ehrman is certainly one, but it's really almost any good biblical scholar knows. I mean, all you have to do is pick up a good Bible commentary, such as the Interpreter's Bible Commentary, and begin reading it. And you'll be exposed in the process to, wait a minute, this text originally read this way, and this was inserted into the text around the year 380 in Spain. This sort of information's there. It's available to the public, but they have to really go out and study in order to find it.
That's the thing. How many actually want to take the time to investigate instead of just blindly going along with what everyone else is going along with?
Yeah, and it does take a great deal of time
to
try and do it on your own.
You see, the thing that he mentioned there, the earliest manuscripts and things, and a lot of this school of thought, that's over here. Vaticanus and Sinaiticus and all the papyrus fragments and everything else, the Alexandrian manuscripts, they are earliest because no Christian ever messed with them. Okay? That's why there are such old copies. They are held by the Roman Catholic Church. Even today, the Vaticanus manuscript is held in the care of the Vatican. All right? And read the Nestle's 27th edition. Look at my other videos. Look at the Real Bible Version issue exposed. I prove all of it. I show it. The new versions are based on this Nestle's text, and you read the Nestle's text and it says that it was made under the supervision of the Vatican, and there was a Jesuit cardinal, Carlo Martini, that sat on the translation team of the Nestle's text. Okay? This is Roman Catholic over here. You say, which ones? All Bibles produced since 1881 are Roman Catholic. Or they rely on this, or will make reference to this. The New King James Version blends Receptus and Nestle's readings. Okay, the New King James Version isn't any good either. You say, which one is good? Right here, King James Bible. But at least I will say one thing for this older man here that's now a Muslim or whatever. He said that he couldn't, in good conscience, stand up there and preach from a book that he knew was a lie. Now, I respect that at least. At least he's honest. You see, most of the preachers up and down this country right now, they are taught Alexandrian philosophy where the Bible's not perfect, it's just a man-made book, and then what are they doing in the pulpit? See, it's a living. It's money. They make a lot of money at it. Okay? But if you go to these people, go to your local pastor, okay? Now, if you're in an independent Bible-believing Baptist church, chances are he's probably going to believe the book, this book. But if you're in another type of church, go to him and ask him if this book is perfect. Ask him if the Bible that he preaches from is perfect. Check it out, okay? He said, oh, I don't believe in this conspiracy stuff, this Bible version conspiracy thing. Okay, ask your pastor. If your pastor has gone through this school of philosophy, he'll tell you about it. Well, no, no translation is inspired. We need to watch out for King James onlyism. Ask him. But at least that older man there, the man that you just saw in the video, at least he was honest enough to say that he could not in good conscience stand in a pulpit and preach from a book that he didn't believe in. Okay? And I have more respect for somebody like that than these fake preachers out there in America today who stand up in the pulpit and preach out of books that they don't believe in. Okay? That's wickedness.